In this video, I will be discussing the shared ownership scheme, pointing out the pros and cons as well as outlining my recommended strategy for buyers. On this channel, I provide my top tips to buyers, sellers, landlords and tenants, as well as individuals looking to build or enter into a career within the property industry. I've been working as an estate agent in London for almost a decade and created this channel in order to share my knowledge with you to hopefully keep you better informed and save you some money and stress along the way. If any of this content sounds useful, then please do like the video, subscribe to the channel, tell a friend to tell a friend, and without further ado, let's get into the video. Shared ownership is a type of affordable home ownership when a buyer takes out a mortgage on a share of the property and pays rent to a landlord on the remaining share. For example, someone might buy a 50% share in a property and pay rent to the landlord on the remaining 50%. The pros of this scheme are it does give buyers an opportunity to get onto the property ladder who don't have a big enough deposit or large enough mortgage offer to be able to do so otherwise. Also, it is better than paying 100% of your rent to a landlord as you do when you privately rent a property. At least a portion of your rent will go towards paying off your mortgage with the shared ownership scheme. The cons of the scheme: there are a very limited number of properties which have this scheme incorporated. In other words, if you're looking for a shared ownership property, then your choices will be a lot more limited, as typically properties offering the shared ownership scheme accounts for less than 5% of the overall market. In addition to this, the shared ownership scheme is usually only offered on properties within modern developments, which are typically at the top end of the market anyway, so in some ways that sort of defeats the purpose of the scheme. And the final point, it can be very difficult to sell the property. In my opinion, this is the biggest issue with shared ownership properties and something that is usually not explained to buyers at the point of purchase, but something they will be stung with further down the line when they come to eventually sell the property. The landlord always decides what the property will be marketed for when you do come to sell, and in addition to this, they will also have complete control as to what they deem to be an acceptable offer, and typically they won't negotiate or agree to a lower price than what the property is being marketed for. This in turn can leave you trapped to some extent, and I've had clients in the past who have been unable to sell their property for months, sometimes even over a year. So my conclusion for the shared ownership scheme: overall, shared ownership can be useful in giving a helping hand for first-time buyers to get onto the property ladder. Compared to renting, for example, at least you are partly paying off your mortgage rather than 100% of your rent going to the landlord. However, due to the restrictions in place when you come to sell the property, I think it is a very risky proposition to enter into. Personally, I think it would be better strategy to consider lower budget properties which you would be able to get a 10% more deposit on, as well as a mortgage offer. If you're not in a financial position to do this just yet, personally I would still suggest that it be safer to continue to rent for a year or two until you're in a position to do this, rather than purchasing a property on the shared ownership scheme. That concludes this video. If you'd like to find out more about the shared ownership scheme, do feel free to ask any questions in the comment section, or let me know if you'd like another video on any other aspect of this scheme. As always guys, do like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Cheers.